Gustav Hansen was born on February 13, 1974 in a town outside Copenhagen, Denmark. His mom called him Gus when he was a toddler, and the name stuck with him right up through his adulthood. Hansen was homeschooled for the majority of his elementary school years, being taught by his mother and occasionally his aunt Elise. Before Hansen entered high school, his father taught him how to play backgammon. He spent the entire summer playing backgammon, learning various strategies on how to win and become a very skilled player. Hansen was so passionate about the game that he started a club at a school for other students to learn and play backgammon. He would organize tournaments that would take place at school grounds and involve several other schools in the surrounding areas. When Hansen wasn't playing backgammon, he could be found studying. He was a hardworking student who was especially skilled when it came to mathematics. He was placed in advanced math courses his entire career, receiving A's in all of them. He was awarded several different academic scholarships thanks to his performances, which he used to pay for his tuition at the University of California, Santa Cruz. Since he was mathematically inclined, he thought a degree in accounting would suit him well. While attending UCSC, Hansen got his first taste of gambling. He got invited to one of the classmates' weekly Texas Hold'em poker tournaments that took place in the common room of his 4-person dorm room. 8 people crowded around a small coffee table and were eager to teach Hansen how to play. Despite never playing poker before, Hansen was able to walk away from that poker game a winner. His friends were amazed by how quickly he was able to pick up the game's rules and started developing winning strategies of his own. In 1995, Gus was sent back home to Denmark to serve in the military. During his downtime, he would play poker against his fellow soldiers. He continued to hone his skills and even tried a couple of variations of poker like Omaha, 7-card stud, and Raz. Once his time serving in the military had officially come to an end, he moved back to the United States and started entering in every poker tournament he could. He started meeting players like Huckleberry Seed and Phil Locke, and through them, Hansen developed knowledge and practice that gave him the confidence to try out his first World Series of Poker event in 1996. However, he found himself too short of experience when facing the No Limit Hold'em event. He had no chance of winning as it was his first time playing No Limit Hold'em. He got knocked out on the first day and continued practicing, testing new plays and experimenting mixing up styles to determine his personal style. Mixed up play turned out to be Hansen's permanent style. By 1998, he was playing more poker than backgammon and made more frequent trips to Las Vegas to gamble and developed a real presence at the table. At the time when the World Poker Tour premiered in 2002, Gus Hansen took first place in the $10,000 No Limit Hold'em event at the 5-Diamond World Poker Classic in Las Vegas with more than $500,000 won. Realizing this was more money than he could ever be able to make as an accountant, Hansen decided to focus all of his time and attention to poker. He started a small online poker room called Poker Champs in 2003. While he was able to attract a couple of thousand people to his site, he just didn't have enough time to invest in the company. He was too busy traveling the world to compete in poker tournaments, getting his professional poker career off its feet. He eventually sold the company to Betfair for $15 million. Hansen was invited to compete in the inaugural Poker Superstars Invitational Tournament in 2005. He was hesitant to compete at first as the buy-in was $400,000, but believing this would be a good way to show off his poker skills, he decided to enter it. Despite being forced to play against other accomplished players like Doyle Brunson and Phil Ivey, Hansen surprised everyone by landing first and taking home the grand prize of $1 million. Soon after that, people started calling him the Great Dane of Poker as a reference to his incredible talent and Danish heritage. Hansen plays in many of the larger buy-in events, but his speciality is No Limit Hold'em. More specifically, Hansen's style matches short deck no limit games perfectly. He's known as a tough lowball player. His appearances at live tables always seem to produce some great moments in poker.
Come with friendly advice here at this table?
Yes.
Don't try to raise my blind.
He's known to see many flops with a variety of odd starting poker hands. He also loves to make crazy plays and bowl bluffs.
Mike! Special deal for you.
All in, first hand.
Hansen can be very loose and unpredictable when he plays, but he's not simply reckless. His plays are thoughtful and timely. He's one of the greatest players in post-flop play. He displays great confidence, although he is known to get a bit emotional at the tables, needing to take some time over a bad beat or miscue. Hansen has earned a reputation for being a player who is not afraid to play any poker hand and play it aggressively. Now that he had a little more money to work with, he started competing in tournaments all over the world. He headed to Melbourne, Australia in 2007 to compete in their Aussie Millions event. After placing in the top 10 for most of their smaller tournaments, Hansen managed to win the first place in their main event. Performing better than his 700 competitors, Hansen was able to take home his biggest career win of $1.5 million. He decided to write a book about this experience at the Aussie Millions titled Every Hand Revealed by Gus Hansen. Hansen appeared on the second season of High Stakes Poker, where he managed to win $575,000 after taking down professional poker player Daniel Negreanu. His performances on that show led to a sponsorship from Full Tilt Poker. He was a part of the Full Tilt Poker team for just over 5 years, proudly wearing his Full Tilt Poker uniform to every tournament he competed in. In 2008, Hansen joined the commentary team on World Series of Backgammon, a high-stakes televised backgammon tour broadcasting on Eurosport across Europe, and came in 160th place out of a field of 6,844 players to win a prize of $41,000. In February 2009, Gus launched the Gus Hansen TV, branded as a free poker channel broadcast over the internet.
You're in danger, 50,000, heads up, pot limit Omaha. And then, I'm gonna sit down at Hansen's blender.
The year 2010 would be a significant year in Hansen's professional poker career, as it was the year he won his first World Series of Poker bracelet. He finished first in the No Limit Hold'em High Roller Heads Up event at the World Series of Poker Europe, winning the signature gold bracelet and over $450,000. Later that same year, he won the first Poker Million 9 tournament. He played heads up against Tony Bloom, getting him to fold on a well-orchestrated bluff. The prize for this tournament was another $1 million. The last major performance of his career took place in January of 2012. He placed third in the Aussie Millions $250,000 No Limit Hold'em Challenge. Making it to the final table, he got beat out by Phil Ivey and Patrick Antonius. Although he didn't win, he wasn't too disappointed. His third place finish came with an $820,000 cash prize. 6 months later, he won the 2012 World Series of Poker one-drop mega satellite event with a prize of $1 million. Over the next few years, Hansen struggled to perform well in live tournaments. He won a couple of $1,000s here and there, but he was no longer making enough money to support himself financially. Also, Gus was doing really bad in online poker as well. What made him retire from online poker is not a secret to poker fans. Despite being a force to be reckoned with in live cash games, Gus was completely crushed playing online. His combined online losses have been upwards of $21 million, making him one of the biggest losing players in online poker history, along with Gil Alberti. Haters have remarked Hansen as an online fish, but it's a bit complex. One could argue that Gus always played with the best in the world in any format and always jumped into any big game. Gus himself said that his table selection is the worst that anyone has ever seen. Also, his tilt issues are the worst. Considering the high stakes and the opposition he chose, one can say that his results demonstrated extreme stubbornness rather than an absence of talent. He took all this as a sign to walk away from his career as a professional poker player and take a job as an accountant instead. He completely left the poker scene, refusing to enter in any tournaments or to even make an appearance in Las Vegas until he got his finances back on track. He also dedicated more time to improving his physical health, playing tennis and backgammon on a regular basis. Towards the end of 2016, he revealed his plans to play poker again, but his comeback in 2016 was a bit short-lived. However, Gus was finally back as a high-stakes cash game player in early 2018. Gus Hansen is now currently back playing high-stakes cash games in Bobby's room with the likes of Phil Ivey and Jungleman. Famous for being quite the playboy, Hansen was rumored to be dating Danish professional tennis player Caroline Wozniacki in 2010 when she was the #1 ranked female player in the world. During this time, Wozniacki was seen globe-trotting to many main events with Hansen, but the relationship seems to have fizzled out sometime in late 2011. He was voted the top 50 sexiest people alive by People magazine in 2004. Hansen regularly exercises his competitive hackles in a variety of games including backgammon, bridge, chess, and Go. He's a huge sports fan and he has coached several high-level sports pros. Although he makes fewer TV appearances than some players, he did appear as himself playing poker with David Williams in the 2007 film Red Line. He also makes frequent Instagram posts about his high-stakes poker life and behind the scenes of the high-stakes cash games, and those are really interesting to watch.
Walking the hallways of Bellagio, and I'm happy to announce that it looks like Christmas comes early this year.
He has almost 50,000 Insta followers so far. According to the Hendon Mob database, Gus Hansen's live earnings total a net worth of $10.2 million.